Hello guys. Today I'll be talking about the rules as to delivery in a particular contract of sale. So in yesterday's class we have talked about what are the particular duties and obligations, that is the rights and obligations of a seller and a buyer in a particular contract of sale, and we saw how a particular duty and obligation only arises with respect to a particular right of another party. So both of them arise at a particular point, so they cannot go without each other, right? These are dual correlators, as I had discussed with you yesterday. So now when we talk about duties of seller and buyer, yesterday we saw that there are majorly two duties of a seller and buyer. The first is the seller's duty to deliver the goods, and adjacent to it there is a buyer's duty to accept the goods and pay for them, right? So now there we also started studying with regard to delivery. Like we said that there is a seller's duty to deliver the goods. So obviously if there is a seller's duty to deliver the goods, we have to understand what does delivery mean. So yesterday we also discussed about the meaning of delivery, and we saw that how delivery of goods is defined as the voluntary and the lawful transfer of the possession of the goods from one person to another. So it is the voluntary and lawful transfer of the possession of the goods from one person to another. So now in continuance of this particular definition of delivery, we understood what are the different modes of effective delivery: actual delivery, symbolic delivery and constructive delivery. And then we also read about what happens in scenario of a part delivery. In continuance of the discussion, today we are going to be dealing with rules of delivery, right? What are the particular rules with regard to the place of delivery, the time of delivery, right? Delivery by a third party. So all of these rules have been particularly statutorily implemented, and they have been embedded within section 36 of the Sale of Goods Act. So let's look into section 36 of the Sale of Goods Act. Section 36 in its first provision lays down about the place of delivery. So first of all, let's understand that there are basically two circumstances. एक तो there is a special agreement between the parties, and in the special agreement they mention about a place of delivery which has been expressly or impliedly mentioned or agreed with by the parties, or then if these particular special agreements and these particular special implied express agreements is not applicable, then in that situation the rules of delivery come into application. So अब देखते हैं कि रूल्स ऑफ डिलीवरी बेसिकली क्या कहता है. Under section 36 it has been written that whether it is for the buyer to take possession of the goods or for the seller to send them to the buyer is a question depending in each case on the contract, express or implied between the parties. So कहाँ पे buyer possession लेगा? It is whether it is for the buyer to take possession or whether it is for the seller to send them to the buyer is a question of fact depending upon the upon each case of a contract, right? So ये एक special agreement है जहाँ पे अगर buyer और seller expressly कुछ mention करते हैं कि this is going to be the place of delivery, then that is a different situation. However, apart from any such contract, goods sold are to be delivered at the place at which they are at the time of the agreement to sale, right? They are supposed to be delivered at the place at which they are, right? In case of an agreement to sell, the goods are supposed to be delivered in the at the place at which they are, or at the time of the sale, right? Or at a place where they are at the time of the sale. So in case of a general contract of sale, it is basically where it is the seller's place of business, right? Where they are at the time of sale. Or if they are not in existence, that means अगर यहाँ पे future goods की हम बात करें, then in that scenario at the place at which they are manufactured or produced. राइट. सो यहाँ पे हमें 3 पर्टिकुलर रूल्स समझ में आते हैं. पहला रूल ये है कि द गुड्स सोल्ड आर टू बी डिलीवर्ड एट द प्लेस एट विच दे आर एट द टाइम ऑफ सेल. तो कोई भी जनरल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल, वी ऑलरेडी नो द डिफरेंस बिटवीन अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट ऑफ सेल एंड एन एग्रीमेंट टू सेल. So in case of a contract of sale, goods sold are to be delivered where at the place at which they are at the time of sale, right? Second, ये it is saying about particularly laying down about agreement to sale. तो agreement to sale के केस में क्या? So goods agreed to be sold are to be delivered at the place at which they are at the time of agreement to sale. जहाँ पे वो agreement to sale के टाइम पे जहाँ पे वो goods situated है वहीं पे delivery होगी, right? That is the place of delivery. And second and third situation is when they are not in existence, when they are future goods. Then they will be delivered at the place at which they are manufactured or they are produced. So basically, to sum everything up, to sum all the rules up, we can understand that basically it states that in the absence of a special agreement, the place of delivery is where it is at the seller's place of business, right? If he has one. So the place of delivery is where it is at the seller's place of business. And if he does not have a place of business, then it is supposed to be at his residence, right? It is supposed to be at his residence. Whereas अगर ये 3 सिचुएशन है हमारा जब कोई स्पेशल एग्रीमेंट नहीं है, लेकिन अगर कोई स्पेशल एग्रीमेंट है जैसे कि यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, राइट? तो अगर स्पेशल एग्रीमेंट है, पहले जो पोर्शन है दैट इज पर्टिकुलरली पर्टेनिंग टू अ स्पेशल एग्रीमेंट. सो इन केस देयर इज अ स्पेशल एग्रीमेंट, if the contract mentions the place of delivery, then it wouldn't fall under the operative parts of the section. अगर स्पेशली मेंशन किया हुआ है तो वो ऑपरेटिव पार्ट्स ऑफ द सेक्शन में नहीं बिलोंग करेगा. देन इट विल बी एग्जैक्टली हैपनिंग अकॉर्डिंग टू व्हाट हैज बीन स्टेटेड इन द कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पर से, राइट? तो ये ऑपरेटिव सेक्शन है. तो हमें पहला प्लेस ऑफ डिलीवरी का क्लियर हो गया कि भाई अगर operative part of the section has to be implemented, if no special agreement is there, then operative part of the section is particularly stating that it has to be the seller's place of business, or if no place of business, then at his residence. If operative part of the section nahi implement kab hoga, then the only situation is with regard to a particular special agreement. And if the agreement specifically mentions the place of delivery, then this section will not apply altogether, right? That is with regard to the place of delivery. Next, okay guys, so next we are going to go into understanding the time of delivery, right? तो देखते हैं time of delivery में क्या लिखा है. तो the particular section states that where under the contract of sale the seller is bound to send the goods to the buyer. Where under the contract of sale the seller is bound to send the goods to the buyer, but no time for sending them is fixed, then the seller is supposed to send them within a reasonable time. तो अगर कोई टाइम नहीं फिक्स है तो फिर ये सेक्शन ले डाउन करता है कि भाई रीजनेबल टाइम के अंदर द सेलर इज बाउंड टू मेक द डिलीवरी. नाउ द क्वेश्चन अराइजेस कि भाई ये रीजनेबल टाइम क्या है. तो अगर हम यहाँ पे रीजनेबल टाइम वर्ड यूज कर रहे हैं तो दैट हैज टू हैव अ पर्टिकुलर रेलेवेंस, राइट? सो नाउ द रेलेवेंस एक्चुअली लाइज अंडर सेक्शन 63 एंड द रिलेटिव लिंक विथ सेक्शन 35. तो टू अंडरस्टैंड द टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी यू हैव टू बिल्ड अ कनेक्ट विथ सेक्शन 35 एंड सेक्शन 63. Section 63 particularly lays down that reasonable time is a question of fact, right? It lays down that reasonable time is a question of fact, right? Now, when we say that reasonable time is a question of fact, we try to build a connect with section 35. Section 35 particularly lays down that the buyer has to request for delivery. The buyer has to request for delivery, which becomes a condition precedent to the seller's obligation to deliver. तो अगर आप एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि सेलर आपको सामान डिलीवर करके जाएगा तो उससे पहले आपका ऑब्लिगेशन है, बायर का ऑब्लिगेशन है कि वो सेलर को पूछेगा कि भाई तुम डिलीवर कब कर रहे हो, कर दो. So it is a particular condition precedent that the buyer has to make a request of delivery, right? So that is a condition precedent inserted under section 35. Now this request that is supposed to be made, this request could be limited by time, राइट ये टाइम लिमिटेड भी हो सकता है कि भाई इतने टाइम तक आपको रिक्वेस्ट करना है, द बायर हैज टू रिक्वेस्ट फॉर डिलीवरी विद इन दिस पर्टिकुलर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, right? It can be specifically mentioned in the contract that if the buyer does not request for delivery within 7 days, 7 business days, then maybe the contract will be frustrated, right? So this request could be limited by time expressed in the contract, right? Or it must be made within a reasonable time. तो ये जो request है, the request that the buyer is supposed to make for delivery, that request could either be regulated by a stipulated time within the contract, or it must be made within reasonable time, right? And if owing to excessive delay, because of excessive delay, if the buyer by the buyer, right, अगर बहुत ज़्यादा delay की वजह से if the buyer does not really make the request and it leads into a situation where the seller is prejudiced, then the seller will be discharged, right? अगर इसके वजह से seller is prejudiced, then the seller will be discharged, right? And it would amount to a particular abandonment of the contract by mutual consent, right? So यहाँ पे यही situation है कि भाई अगर आप सेलर के ऊपर ऑब्लिगेशन रख रहे हैं, then there is also an obligation with the particular buyer. The buyer also has to request for delivery, and if the buyer has to request for delivery, that request can be regulated by virtue of a time period that has been mentioned, stipulated in the contract, and if not stipulated in the contract, it will be under reasonable time. And if due to delay the buyer does not make the request for delivery, then it will obviously lead to what? It will lead to the seller being in a situation which is disadvantageous for him. So if the seller is in a situation which is disadvantageous for him, then it will be leading to him being prejudiced. So agar if he is getting prejudiced, obviously he will be discharged of his obligations, and it would lead to the contract being abandoned by mutual consent, right? However, this provision is not that easy. There is also another obligation on the seller, right? The seller is ought to first call upon the buyer कि if you are not making a request, right, for delivery, then obviously the seller has to call upon the buyer to ask him to make the request, right? कि भाई you make the request for delivery and then I will make the delivery, right? And if the buyer even after that within a reasonable time and after such notice, if the buyer fails to make the particular request for delivery, then the seller may treat the contract as repudiated by the buyer, राइट अगर इस सिचुएशन में सेलर फोन करके बोलता है बायर को कि भाई डिलीवरी तुमको चाहिए, मैं डिलीवर करने की कोशिश कर रहा हूँ, और इसके बाद भी अगर बायर नहीं प्लेस करता है कि ठीक है आप डिलीवरी कर दीजिए, अगर फिर भी बायर इज नॉट एग्रीइंग और नॉट इन्फॉर्मिंग और नॉट रिक्वेस्टिंग द फॉर डिलीवरी, then in that scenario it will lead into the particular sale transaction being repudiated. All right, that is with regard to the time of delivery. अब यहाँ पे एक और सिचुएशन देख लेते हैं. अब थर्ड सिचुएशन, थर्ड रूल लिखा हुआ है. हम लोग अभी तक क्या कवर कर चुके हैं? हम लोग अभी प्लेस ऑफ डिलीवरी और टाइम ऑफ डिलीवरी कवर कर चुके हैं, राइट? नेक्स्ट हमारा जो कंसर्न है, इट इज विथ रिगार्ड टू अ पोजेशन ऑफ द पर्टिकुलर गुड बाय अ थर्ड पर्सन. तो अब एक सिचुएशन देखते हैं. तो एक सेल ट्रांजैक्शन है ए और बी के बीच में, ठीक है? देयर आर टू पीपल ए एंड बी, एंड ए इज सपोज टू सेल सर्टेन पर्टिकुलर गुड्स, और ए हैज सोल्ड, आप समझ लीजिए दैट ए हैज ऑलरेडी सोल्ड सर्टेन गुड्स. let's take woolen goods, right? Woolen garments. So A has sold woolen garments to B. So A has already sold woolen garments to B, but those woolen garments, because they are in bulk, they are stored in the warehouse of C, right? तो C के warehouse में सारा good जो है वो stored है. Now यहाँ पे C के ऊपर एक obligation है. A has already sold it to B, then C has an obligation because C's warehouse is having those goods with them. So C has an obligation to inform B that the goods are with him. तो इस सिचुएशन में C ने क्या किया? C wrote a letter C called or wrote a letter to B and said that, you know, you can remove the woolen garments from my warehouse and I have no objection to it, right? A has given me the woolen to be sold to you, and now you can take it from my warehouse. So in this situation, this particular information that that C is writing to B, that, you know, you can take the woolen garments, that C is giving to B, the third person C is giving to B, that acts as a initiative of delivery that actually amounts to delivery. Alright, so let's see what the section is putting forward. The section states that where the goods at the time of the sale, are in the possession of a third person, where the goods at the time of the sale are in the possession of a third person. तो इस सिनेरियो में C के warehouse में woolen garments stored है, right? तो C हमारा third person हुआ. There is no delivery by the seller to the buyer. Seller is who? A, and buyer is who? B. So there is no delivery by the seller to the buyer unless and until such third party, as in C, such third party C acknowledges to the buyer B that he holds the goods on his behalf, that the particular holder, that is C, is holding the goods on whose behalf? On B's behalf. So now he becomes an agent of the buyer and a constructive delivery हो चुकी है. A has already made the delivery because C ने बोल दिया है बायर को कि भाई मैं आपके लिए गुड्स जो है मैं अपना वेयर हाउस में रखा हुआ हूँ, आप आके डिलीवरी ले लो, राइट? तो इस सिचुएशन में C has already informed him, and now the delivery that is there with C is a constructive delivery. So it has already come under the constructive possession of the person B. So risk has already passed. The delivery has already happened, right? So this is provided under the particular third clause with regard to a third person being involved. तो अगर जहाँ पे third person involved है उस situation में यही होगा कि अगर आप third person involved है तो C जो है that person becomes the buyer's agent, right? Remember that the third person becomes the buyer's agent after he informs the buyer that I am particularly holding the goods for you, right? Where the goods at the time of sale are in the possession of a third person, there is no delivery by the seller to the buyer unless and until such third party acknowledges to the buyer that he holds the goods on his behalf, on the buyer's behalf, right? Provided that nothing in this section shall affect the operation of the issue or transfer of any document of title to goods. तो इस situation में यही है कि अगर आप goods already you have kept it in possession of somebody else, but that does not make you the seller anyway disabled with regard to giving the document of title to goods to the particular person B. तो अगर woolen garments की जगह पे गाड़ी है और गाड़ी अगर warehouse में है, C के warehouse में है, and in this situation if the particular person has not yet given the document of title to goods, then गाड़ी अगर C के पास है, C अगर फोन करके B को बोलता है कि भाई मेरे पास सामान है आपका और आप लेके जाइए, तो that would not amount to delivery, right? You have to give the document of title to goods to the particular person B, right? So in this situation, this section would not really be sufficing with regard to a particular good जहाँ पे document of title to goods come into operation, right? So this section would not be affecting the operation of issue or transfer of any document of title to goods, right? So this is a particular exception or this is a particular different interpretation of the section आप ये interpret कर सकते हैं. Alright, next we'll go to the next relevant section. Okay, so section 36 के अभी भी दो rules बाकी हैं. So the fourth rule is stating that demand or tender for delivery, demand or tender of delivery may be treated as ineffectual, right? Demand or tender of delivery may be treated as ineffectual unless made at a reasonable hour. what a reasonable hour is a question of fact. So this is pretty self-explanatory, guys. So it is stating that business hours में ही आपको या reasonable hours में ही आपको deliver करना पड़ेगा. And reasonable, तो we know that reasonable is something which is very difficult to interpret, right? So it is something which depends upon the parties, which depends upon like not only the parties but also on the standards of a reasonable man, right? So a prudent man, for him whatever is a reasonable hour is a reasonable hour for us. So maybe the business hours, the business days, so that is what can be interpreted from this. So demand or tender of delivery may be treated as ineffectual unless made at a reasonable hour. What a reasonable hour is a question of fact. Okay, next particular rule states that unless otherwise agreed, the expenses of and incidental to putting the goods into a deliverable state shall be borne by the seller. So यहाँ पे particularly एक rule lay down किया गया है that if you are supposed to bring the goods in a deliverable state, so then that particular deliverable state, whatever has to be taken, like जो भी खर्चा करना पड़े उस good को deliverable state में लाने के लिए, that particular expense is incidental, like any kind of expenses which is incidental to bringing a good into a deliverable state is supposed to be borne by the seller, right? So in case even if the buyer is undertaking those expenses, right, even if the buyer is undertaking those expenses, and it creates a liability on the particular seller to reimburse them, right? So here the buyer has the right to recover that particular money, recover that expense that he puts to particularly put the goods into a deliverable state. He can recover them from the seller, right? जो भी buyer spend करता है to put the goods into a deliverable state, he can recover them from the seller, right? Because according to the rules of delivery, deliverable state में रखने के लिए जितना भी expense देना पड़ता है, those expenses are supposed to be borne by the seller, right? So this sums up your rules of delivery. Next, we can see section 37 lays down the provisions relating to delivery of wrong quantity. So this is a particularly self-explanatory section, but still let me just give it a read. So section 37 lays down the provision relating to delivery of wrong quantity, that where the seller delivers to the buyer a quantity of goods, where the seller delivers to the buyer a quantity of goods less than he contracted to sell, the buyer may reject them. But if the buyer accepts the goods so delivered, he shall pay for them at the contract rate. तो अगर quantity less deliver होती है तो इस situation में the buyer may reject them, but if the buyer accepts the good, then he shall be paying for them at a contract rate, right? Next, it is talking about when larger quantity में deliver होता है. So where the seller delivers to the buyer a quantity of goods larger than he contracted to sell to the buyer may accept the goods included in the contract and reject the rest. Either he can accept जितना quantity उसको दिया गया है और बाकी का वो reject कर दे, या फिर वो पूरा ही reject कर दे. अगर वो पूरा का पूरा एक्सेप्ट कर लेता है, इफ ही एक्सेप्ट्स द होल ऑफ द गुड्स सो डिलीवर्ड, देन ऑब्वियसली जितना एक्सेसिव अमाउंट उसको मिला है उसके हिसाब से ही हैज टू पे एट अ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट रेट, राइट? सो दैट इज विथ रिगार्ड टू सेक्शन 37 clause 2. If the goods are larger in quantity, then in that scenario the buyer may accept the goods included in the contract and reject the rest, and or he may reject the whole, right? Or he may reject the whole quantity. Whereas if he accepts the whole of the goods so delivered, then he shall be paying for them at the contract rate. Section 37 clause 3 states that where the seller delivers to the buyer the goods he contracted to sell, so where the seller delivers to the buyer the goods he contracted to sell mixed with the goods of a different description not included in the contract, the buyer may accept the goods which are in accordance to the contract and reject the rest or may reject the whole. इस पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन में क्यों नहीं है कि भाई आप एक्सेप्ट कर सकते हैं होल? बिकॉज ऑब्वियसली द गुड्स डू नॉट बिलोंग टू द डिस्क्रिप्शन दैट द बायर हैज आस्क्ड फॉर, राइट? बिकॉज देर आर सर्टन गुड्स विच आर मिक्सड विद द गुड्स. जैसे कि अगर आप कुछ सामान मंगवाए हैं विच आर सपोज टू बी ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर क्वालिटी, राइट? एंड इफ देर इज गुड्स विच आर अटैच्ड विच आर ऑफ अ डिफरेंट डिस्क्रिप्शन, देन इन दैट सिनेरियो the particular person can reject the whole or he can accept the part which appear to be of the description and reject the ones which are not of that particular description, right? So यहाँ पे because it is differing from the description of the goods the buyer has asked for, there is no chance of the buyer accepting them altogether. क्योंकि अगर वो उस particular goods को accept कर लेता है तो यहाँ पे major condition violate हो रहा है. Because condition of sale by description is a condition, and if the condition is violated, then the buyer is having the right to repudiate the contract in its entirety, right? So इस situation में because उस sale का ये essential condition है, तो यहाँ पे essential condition को importance देते हुए he can reject it or accept जो description के pursuance में है, whatever is falling under the description he may accept them and reject the rest, or he can reject them in its entirety. अगर वो accept करना चाहे तो all together it will be a different transaction, so वो sale अलग हो जाएगा, right? Next, the provision of this section are subject to any usage of trade, special agreement or course of dealing between the parties. So that is it, and these are dealing with rules of delivery and delivery with regard to wrong quantity. Rest अभी next हमारा installment deliveries होगा, and in next class we are going to be talking about installment deliveries. Okay guys, thank you so much.